Good morning. I am Dr. Kiruthiga, working as an assistant professor in Commerce Applied. Today, I am going to discuss about capital structure. First of all, we know the reason why capital structure is needed for the company. Planning the capital structure is an important area for financial decision making. As the financial manager has to select long-term source of funds in such a way that capital structure is optimum. Rising of more debt will improve the return to shareholders, but it increases the risk also. But rising of funds through equity capital, it will improve the permanent funds, but it decrease the risk. Therefore, the financial manager has to strike the balances of various long-term sources with a view to minimize the overall cost of capital. The next one is meaning of capital structure. Capital structure of the company refers to makeup of its capitalization, and it includes all the long-term sources like shares, bonds, loans and reserves. Next one is the difference between the capitalization and capital structure. Capitalization is nothing but the total amount of long-term funds employed by the firm. Capital structure is nothing but kinds of securities and their proportion in the total capitalization of a firm. The next one is features of capital structure. So these are all the features regarding to capital structure, profitability, flexibility, conservatism, solvency and control. Let's see one by one. The first one is profitability. Profitability means capital structure should be beneficial to shareholders. Uses of debt in capital structure helps to magnify the earning to the shareholders under the favorable conditions. The next one is flexibility. Business conditions are dynamic. It should be possible for the company to adapt its capital structure to meet the changing conditions. The next one is conservatism. To maintain the borrowing at the reasonable level. So only the excessive debt should be avoided. The next one is solvency. It is nothing but able to repay the debt. Excess of debt is a threat to the solvency position of the company. The last one is control. While rising of debt, the company must avoid serve the restrictions by the lender. The next one is determinants of capital structure. It is also known as factors to be considered for capital structure. The first one is financial leverage, stability and growth of sale, cost of capital, cash flow ability, size of the company, capital market condition, flotation cost, corporate tax rate, legal requirements and management philosophy. Let's see one by one. The first one is financial leverage. The uses of long-term debt and preference capital in the capital structure is called as financial leverage. Hence, the financial manager should carefully evaluate the effect of leverage on EPS. In planning the capital structure, the financial manager has to identify the level of debt which would maximize the return to shareholders. The next one is stability and growth of sales. The firms have to stable the sales are not likely to face any difficulty in meeting their fixed commitment of interest and principal repayment. Hence, they can employ more debt in capital structure. However, the firm which have widely fluctuating the sales should be more careful. The next one is cost of capital. The capital structure should be designed to minimize the overall cost of capital. Cost of capital is nothing but minimum rate of return expected by the suppliers. In formulating the capital structure, the company should aim at minimizing the cost of capital by an appropriate combination of different sources. The next one is cash flow ability. If a company is not able to generate the cash to meet the obligation, it may have faced the insolvency. Hence, a company which wants to raise the additional debt should assess the cash flow ability to meet the fixed charges. The next one is size of company. Generally, small companies experience the difficulties in raising of funds from the market, but large companies enjoy certain advantages in designing the capital structure. The next one is capital market condition. Capital market condition also govern the choice of sources of finance. During the boom period, huge amount can be raised by issue of shares. When the market condition is dull, issue of share is desirable. The next one is flotation cost. Flotation cost means the cost incurred for issuing of shares, debentures, etc. The flotation cost is also considered for capital structure. The next one is corporate tax rate. The debt offer tax advantages. Interest on debt is a determination of taxable income. Hence, if the corporate tax rate is high, it would be more advantageous to raising of funds through debt. The next one is legal requirements. So, as a company has to comply with the legal requirements and government guidelines in planning the capital structure. The next one is management philosophy. The attitude of the management also affect the capital decisions. The next one is theories of capital structure. We have four theories: net income approach, net operating approach, traditional approach, Modiglieri-Miller approach. Let's see one by one. The first one is net income approach. It was suggested by Dept. Debt equity mix and the cost of capital and the value of the firm will affect. The next one is the firm can minimize the overall cost of capital, maximize the uses of debt in capital structure. The market price and the value of the firm will increase. These are the assumptions of the theory. The cost of debt is less than the cost of equity. There is a no corporate tax. The uses of debt does not alter the risk perception of investors. The next one is advantages of this theory. It is very simple. Interest rate are generally lower than the dividend rate. Further interest is not allowed as deduction in computation of tax. Debt is cheaper than equity. Increasing in the proportion of debt in capital structure to minimize the overall cost of capital and maximize the value of the firm. By using this formula, we can find out the value of the firm. V is equal to S plus D. S is nothing but market value of equity. D is nothing but market value of debt. The cost of capital is computed through this formula EBIT divided by V. The next approach is called as net operating approach. It is also suggested by Dept. It is opposite to net income approach. Capital structure does not affect the overall cost of capital. There is no optimum capital structure. The assumption of the theories are the market capitalization of the firm as a whole. EBIT is capitalized with the overall cost of capital. Business risk is the same for the different level of debts in the capital structure. There is no corporate tax. Here we can using this formula. V is computed net operating income divided by overall cost of capital. S is equal to V minus D. The next approach is called as traditional approach. It is an intermediate approach. It is the middle of net income and net operating income. Uses of debt up to the point is advantageous. It helps to reduce the overall cost of capital and increase the value of the firm. After this point, the debt increases, the financial risk of the shareholders also increases. So, the uses of debt is favorable up to certain limit. Beyond the limit, it will affect the value of the firm. The next, therefore, the debt equity mix maintained at proper level. The next approach is called as Modiglieri-Miller approach. It is also known as approach. He has two ideas, that is no corporate taxes if there is a corporate taxes. If there is no corporate taxes, the cost of capital and the value of the firms are not affected by the capital structure or debt equity mix. According to approach, the total value of the firm is determined by its operating income. It is independent of the debt equity mix. Two firms which are identical in all respects except their capital structure cannot have the different market values or different cost of capital of the market values is differ. Arbitrary process will take place and make them equal. The next one is corporate tax. The capital structure of the company would affect the cost of capital and the value of the firm. When there are corporate taxes, if the firm uses of debt in capital structure, the cost of capital will decline and market value will increase. The next one is criticism of this approach. The market are not perfect. higher interest for individuals. Personal leverage is no substitute for corporate leverage if there is a transaction cost. Thank you.